Hi, I'm Selena from Annie's Bookstop of Worcester, and I'm here with Sanjay Pappu, who is an author of a very different kind of book. He is an author of a puzzle book, and he's also a very different kind of author. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Sanjay?
So first off, thank you for having me here. I'm really excited to share with you my first publication. So a bit about myself. My name is Sanjay Pappu, and I live in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. I am 14 years old, and I love playing basketball. And I love watching the Celtics. And I love puzzles. I also love to sing as well. Those are a few of my hobbies. I have lived in Massachusetts for about 13 years, so for all practical purposes, I'd consider myself a native of Massachusetts.
That's great. Sounds good. Okay. So, for readers unfamiliar with you and your work, how would you describe what you've written? You're a debut author. This is your first book.
So my newest publication is called Puzzle Mania, and it's a book of logic puzzles for all ages and skill levels. And for those of you unfamiliar with logic puzzles, in a logic puzzle, you're basically like a detective, and you're trying to solve a problem based on a series of clues. And in addition to those clues, you're also given a grid to mark off true or false observations about these clues. And so, for example, let's say our scenario is that we have five people going to a grocery store, and we need to figure out who checked out at what counter and bought what fruit. So we would look at each of the clues individually, and we would see what information we could extract from these clues to mark off on a grid. And once we've looked at each clue individually at face value, we would look at each clue in relation to one another to kind of fill out the rest of the grid and solve the rest of the puzzle. So my book consists of 20 of these logic puzzles. They're for all ages and skill levels. They're printed on large paper, and they have detailed solutions for easy use.
So, do you have a copy of the book you could show us?
I do. It's right here. It's called Puzzle Mania, and
Okay.
it has here, if you want to see, sneak peek of some of the puzzles.
Hmm. Excellent. So, what was the inspiration for your book?
Well, ever since I was little, I've always, loved solving puzzles. Um, whether it be Rubik's cubes, uh, the New York Times puzzles, jigsaw puzzles. And I also love solving other logic puzzles. And so when I was solving these logic puzzles, I noticed that they were usually meant for travel, so they were portable, but they didn't really have, they were printed on small paper, so they didn't really have very detailed solutions, and writing on the books was very hard to do. So I took it upon myself to create a book with printed on large paper and very detailed solutions for easy use.
Okay. So, what were the steps that you took to bring it from initial inspiration to a finalized product?
Well, so um so my first puzzle, it's titled An Eventful Night in the NBA, and that took me about 5 to 6 days to make. And that's not including the detailed solution. But after that, things got way easier and I kind of got into a rhythm. So after the first puzzle, which took me a while, it actually took me a while to come up with the names and come up with all the it kind of took me a while to, kind of make the grid. But after that, it became a lot easier and um it uh was a lot yeah, a lot easier as I went on.
Okay. So, did you have to do any research in order to write this book?
Well, to be completely honest, this book didn't really require a lot of research. I mean, doing logic puzzles from a young age really helped, but again, this project didn't really require any research. It was more based on creativity.
Okay. And What was the biggest challenge that you had in writing and putting it out?
I think honestly for me, again, getting started was super, super hard. Um, I thought that this project was going to take upward of 2 years, because like I said before, it took me like 5 to 6 days to make the first puzzle, and but to my like pleasant surprise, the time got shorter and shorter as I went on, and it became a lot easier. So the hardest part was definitely persevering through those first couple of days, because I at many points I felt like I wanted to give up, but at the end it was definitely worth it.
So how did you actually get it printed? What
Um,
was the process?
well, so we had to talk to the publishers. So that was something, again, as a 14-year-old, that's not something you really see every day.
That's
But
true.
so we sent a manuscript to the publishers, and they kept sending it back to us for like editing and stuff. So it was really cool to edit the manuscript. I spent like 3 or 4 days just picking out the cover alone, which I thought I made a pretty good choice.
That's
Um,
really nice.
and I helped overall with the selection process in picking Palmetto. And one challenge about this was that I had to schedule publishing appointments around school times.
Oh, school times, yes. Okay. That is a challenge,
Yeah.
isn't it? Okay. So what else can we expect from you in the near future?
Well, I plan to write another logic puzzle book. I'm thinking this time I'll have all the puzzles kind of connect to a common theme. I haven't quite decided what that theme is gonna be. I was thinking maybe sports or even like a murder mystery. And I plan to start it in the near future, maybe as early as this summer.
That is fantastic. So what made you decide to really actually become a writer?
That's a tough question. Honestly, I didn't really plan on it, but like I said before, um, doing those logic puzzles and seeing that the solutions weren't really like very detailed, and it was really hard to follow along with the puzzles printed on small paper. I thought I just honestly I kind of like winged it, and it's remarkable to see that I published a book.
Okay, that's great. So what's your favorite part about being a writer and the whole writing and publishing process? And what do your peers think about your being a writer?
I honestly haven't told any of my friends yet. I want to tell them later on, and I want to see their reaction. I want to surprise them. But on being a writer, it's just a surreal feeling to know that you published a book. Like I still can't like get that through my thick head.
So you really don't have a favorite part about being a writer?
Like honestly, favorite part. I think honestly, I'd say the first puzzle. Again, it's titled "An Eventful Night in the NBA." It's a puzzle about the Celtics or sorry, not the Celtics. It's about basketball players, and I love basketball, especially the Celtics. So it was just great to tie in two things to my favorite things in a puzzle.
Okay, so you just enjoy the puzzles themselves, really, and you enjoy
And I
the
enjoy
subject
basketball,
matters.
so. Mhm.
I see. Okay. So, what has been your favorite adventure during your writing career?
Again, it would probably be talking to publishers. Again, not very often do people my age get to talk to like actual publishers, so it was really, really fun getting to make the selection process again, editing the manuscript and designing the cover. That was really, really fun, and that was definitely an adventure.
Hey, so what's the greatest lesson that you've learned thus far?
I'd say it's definitely to follow your passion, and it's to never give up. Like I said, those first few puzzles took a really long time, so I was on the verge of giving up, but again, I persevered through it, and I encourage all other writers to do the same, all other people to do the same, no matter what you're doing. It's always important to know that there will be a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's always important to just follow your dreams and follow your passions.
Excellent. So, do you have any other advice that you want to share with other writers, especially other young writers?
Um, well, if you ever get writer's block, um, it's probably just better, as hard as it may be, to move on and come back to it later because it'll save you a lot of time. And maybe while you're working, you'll come up with an idea.
Okay. You mean just leave what it is you're writing and go on to another thing to write? Is that what you're saying?
If you're having a whole, maybe you're in a story or you're writing, in my case, a logic puzzle book, and you can't figure out one of the clues, what you want to write, just come back to it later, and write the rest of the clues. So it definitely saves you a lot of time, and maybe it'll just help you find the missing piece in your writing, and it'll maybe help you come up with an idea on how to um, just fill in that void.
Okay. Were there any groups, clubs, or organizations that might have helped you um, in your career at all, or help you
Um,
write?
well, I participated in the Model UN Club at my school, and so as a part of the club, we were tasked to write position papers and we were supposed to share them with our peers. So that helped me. That definitely helped me improve my writing a lot.
Okay. Now I have questions about you as a person. What is one thing that most people don't realize about you, aside from the fact that you wrote a book?
Um, I would say that, I mean, one thing people don't realize about me is that I acted in a short film when I was like very young, when I was like 8 or 9 years old. And so my mom is friends with a director. So we both got to act in I think it was two short films. And it was a really nice experience.
Oh, interesting. That's great. Um, Next question is, what is or are your passions? You've already mentioned basketball, but what are some of your other passions when you're not writing?
Okay, like I said, love basketball, love the Celtics. I also love to sing. Like I said, I take Indian classical music lessons, and I also participate in the school choir. And again, I love solving puzzles. I think I spoke about the New York Times, which I do every single day.
Oh, okay. So, um, what, how are you going to, how are you going to top this when you get to high school? And well, you're getting into high school now, but how are you going to top this certainly when you get into college, I assume.
Um, it's gonna be a pretty tough task, but I think just publishing more books. Honestly, I love doing this. And I think honestly, it's super fun. So yeah, just honestly publishing more books.
So do you have any idea of what you might want to study later on?
Honestly, not really. I'm thinking somewhere on the science side. You know, biochemistry, biophysics, or maybe even like engineering. But honestly, I have no idea what I want to be when I grow up.
Okay. I know you never do. And
Yeah.
once you decide you're going to change your mind anyways later on. So, okay. So, what does your writing space look like? And what do you need to have around you when you're writing? Do you have to have any special food or drink?
So as for my writing space, I sit at a very messy desk with two computers. So for this puzzle, I had one for this project, I had one for like the grid and I had one for the clues. So it was easier to just have two screens instead of toggling back and forth on one screen. That was a lot more efficient. And as for food or drink, it would probably be well, I do have water with me when I'm writing, so I don't have to make trips downstairs to get water. And I also usually have cut fruit or Tostito chips next to me while I write, so I don't get hungry.
Aha, great. And when you're writing or editing, do you like silence or music? And if you like music, what kind of music?
So I do like listening to music when I write. So for me, I usually start with my AirPods in, and I like listening to rap music and a little bit of pop music. Um, but when as I keep working, it gets super distracting. So I usually take them out to focus on my work.
So when you're really concentrating, you need
When
to
I'm really
have silence.
concentrating, I gotta, yeah.
Okay. That writers often have furry or feathered or otherwise non-human companions to help them with their work. And do you have any, or does your family have any? And do they help or hinder you?
So I don't have any stuffed animals or any pets next to me while I work. And neither does my family.
Okay. Now I just have two more questions for
Hmm.
you. Where can people find your work? And you know, where can they find your work? And aside from
Um,
Annie's Bookstop of
yeah.
Worcester, you can find you can find Sanjay's book at Annie's. If you call us at 508-796-5613, or you can get his book if you email us at orders at anniesbooksworcester.com. And where else can people find your book?
Well, you can check it out on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles.
So how can we follow your work and share your awesomeness?
Well, so I'm on Instagram and as well as Facebook. So you can follow me on both of those sites. Uh, but I am planning to expand to other platforms.
You have a web page?
I do have a web page. It's on Canva. I can forward you the link after this session. I can forward you the link.
Okay, and I will put it on the YouTube
Mhm.
details. All
Yes.
right. Well, Sanjay, this has been a pleasure. 14 years ago, and you've written a book. That puts me to shame. That's amazing. So thank you so much for joining me. And since you're in Shrewsbury, we hope to see you at the bookstore.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Sanjay, Sanjay Pappu.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
You're
Um,
welcome.